Welcome to Are We On Topic Yet by the Wild Wonder Collective.
Where faith meets real life and nothing's off limits except perfection.
We're your hosts, Dr. Melody, Mama Viv, and yours truly, Angie K.
We're talking all things ministry, motherhood, marriage, mindset,
and the messy moments in between.
Here, the conversations are real, the grace is deep, and the coffee, well, hopefully it's still hot.
So whether you're driving, multitasking, or hiding in the bathroom for 5 minutes of peace,
grab your pen, grab your journal.
Or let's be honest, your laundry basket, and join the convo.
Let's get into it.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are We On Topic Yet? We are in season 5, episode 4.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Who would have thought? But we're here. I am Dr. Melody, and we have Angie K, and we have Mama Viv. Angie K, you have got to change your name, but we have her.
You know, it's been a day.
Right.
Here.
Okay. And we also have a special guest. He's been here before. He is one of my favorites. We have Dustin Pennington, Pastor Dustin from my church, Gate City. Dustin, say hello to the people. Let whoever has not met you before meet you.
Yes, honored to be back with you, lovely ladies. It's fun, joyful, just to hop on and talk about God and the goodness of God, right? And what I get from you guys is just joy. So it's fun to be part of joy. A lot of what I do in my job, I was doing a calculation one point in time, I realized I think 98% of my job is dealing with problems at some level, varying degrees. But it's like, man, all I do is problems. So it's nice to get in an environment that's just not a problem to solve.
Right.
It's just fun.
Right.
So yes, my name is Dustin.
Yes.
I pastor a church called Gate City. I am married 35 years in, married to a wonderful woman. I got married when I was 18. She was 21. It was the summer before my senior year of high school. So it was quite a God thing, obviously, and 4 adult kids. So we started young having kids. So we had 4 kids young, and all of my kids started having kids young. So we are the grandparents of 6 wonderful grandchildren that live close by. And the thing that I enjoy about my life the most right now is absolutely grandkids. They are the most redemptive, medicinal little guys in my life. They're just, they are amazing. So I am loving being a grandparent in this season.
Oh, I love
so
that.
Awesome.
Mama Viv always says that grandkids, there's something grand about grandkids, or some kind of saying you have about the love of
I
grandkids.
never understood the word grandmother until I became one.
Uh-huh.
It was just a word before, but it came alive when I started having grandchildren, and that feeling that you have, it's nothing like it. It's just grand to be a grandparent.
No, I know. I used to have people tell me all the time, hey, look at my grandkids. They would show me the pictures, and I would, hey, that's nice, But now I said, I get it, and I so get it.
I know.
I get it, and they get
Woo!
such a better version of me than my kids
Yes.
got.
Yes.
Oh my goodness! I mean, I'm
Absolutely.
so different now than I was when I was 22. Like, good
Yep.
gracious.
Mhm.
I know now. I guess the thing there is, I know now how fast this little season passes. When they're
Yes.
all your kids and they're all in diapers or pull-ups at the same time, and you're like, oh, please, Lord, let this be over. But now I realize, oh no, this actually gets over way too fast.
Yes.
So now
Way
soaking
too
it in,
fast. I
seeing life through
know.
their eyes,
Yeah.
seeing life
Yeah.
through their eyes. It's just, it's great. So anyway,
Yeah.
I could talk about them for an hour. So
Yes,
yeah,
I'm
Me
gonna
too. I was
say-
thinking the same
Right.
thing. I was thinking the same
it's,
thing. Me too.
it's great.
Believe it or not, folks, the show is not about grandkids today.
No.
That's right. I like grandkids.
And Angie K, what is the episode about today?
We're actually talking about loving people who can't love you back. And depending on how old those kids or grandkids are,
Right. Now, listen, that may be a phase that you may end up experiencing. Hopefully not. Okay, guys. So today we're going to cover when love feels uneven, what can't really means, why we stay in one-sided relationships, grace without self-abandonment, When faith is used to justify staying stuck, grieving what couldn't be, and redefining love with wisdom.
That's so
Um,
good. We'll be done by this time next year. That's perfect.
right.
That was my plan.
So, as Dustin said, we'll hit what we can, and we'll and we'll pour out in this 30-minute show. Okay, guys. So we're diving right into when love feels uneven. Edgy, I almost felt like you were kind of going into that when you started hitting at those grandkids that get older.
It's funny. I wasn't even talking about the older ones. I was actually talking about babies. Like,
Oh, wow.
literally,
Okay.
when babies come out. I mean, that's not what I was going with when I was writing the notes, but it's the truth. When babies come out, they're not like just pouring a whole bunch into you. They're very I hate to use the word selfish, but they are when they come out because they're just very needy, and they can't pour into you the same way you pour into them. So that is an example of a one-sided relationship for a little while.
Yeah, yeah. I see your head going over there, Dustin. What are your thoughts? I told you when I talked to you earlier this week, I'm gonna be sitting on the edge of my seat taking notes because
Uh,
this is this is
it's
something that
funny
you can really
that
pour into.
it's funny. I didn't really even consider the child part of that, the baby part of that. That's a
Mm,
fascinating perspective on needing to love our babies and our little ones in a way where it just can't be reciprocated in a way that's that
Yeah.
much. I mean, now they can kind of snuggle with you a bit, but at the end of the day, that's so true, right? That we have to pour out to our little ones, and they're depending
Mm-hmm.
upon us to be able to self-regulate in their emotions, right? They're looking at
hmm
our facial expressions, so we're having to like just pour into them, and they are finding their emotional stability, safety, their attachments are all being formed during that time. And you're right, they're selfish little boogers. The whole world is revolving around them, and they know it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's coming
it's
from the mom of little people.
right. It's interesting because not to say no parent struggles with that, but I feel like we find that easier, right, to
Mm,
pour than when they become bigger. And I'm not talking about just our kids, I'm talking about um grown-ups, right, that we encounter, and those relationships are one-sided, and maybe they're also in a lot of need the same way those little people are. But sometimes that's more of a struggle that feels harder to pour without receiving.
It is. And I can remember when my oldest son, I just remember the moment, maybe you've had this moment as a parent when they get really mad at you, and they're probably at that, I don't know, 8 or 9 year old, and they will storm off to the room. And I can remember my son just screaming, "I hate you, Daddy. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you." And man, that hurts.
yeah.
Yeah, I just remember the pain I experienced
Yeah.
just I mean, now they get over that, fortunately, but boy, that's phew. I just remember the emotion of that, feeling the daggers um,
Yes.
of them in the bedroom screaming because they got in trouble. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. It's like, oh gosh, yes,
Definitely dagger to the heart. Even without the "I hate you" words in our
Yeah.
household, we got in really big trouble for saying "I hate" Mama Viv. I still remember to this day. When
I'm the
you said,
grandmother.
"Don't you ever say that in my house," and you couldn't say that, but just even the pain of just them rejecting you and being angry with something that you had to stand on like
Yeah, I
that.
just got stabbed.
Oh, now.
yeah.
Just now
Just
from
Oh,
now.
her daughter.
Real life stabbing.
They got to watch it in live time.
I
Yeah.
didn't. Yeah, it's as the conversation goes a certain direction. We talk about our kids, right? And
Right.
and we're in a season of life with our adult children right now, and one of the struggles I have is not that they can't love you back, but it's in a sense, it's like, gosh, I wish y'all could be a little more appreciative and grateful
Hmm.
hmm
of just what you've received over the years. And I know that's a particular struggle I have in my own kids. Now they, love us and all that kind of stuff too, but there is a, a real gap in their in their understanding of what they receive from it. Did we do everything perfectly? No, absolutely not, of course. But I mean, a mom and dad who love them, stay with them, and I mean, just homeschool
Yeah.
through the years, all that stuff, and it really like I have a hard time with the lack of gratitude that comes
Mm,
back from my kids. It'll
Mm-hmm.
poke. I mean, it'll pop up just every now and then, and
mm-hmm.
it's like a drop of cold water on a hot day. Just one little drop can like it's like so surprising when they show
Wow.
any gratitude. But I don't know.
Wow.
I find myself in ministry now telling people, that are adults and their
Mm-hmm.
moms and dads are still alive. I said, just
Mm-hmm.
take a second. I mean, shoot the text. Just say, hey,
Yeah.
thank you, for all you did. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not asking for a 5 hour conversation, or you don't have to take me on a vacation. I just mean, but man, just any expression of gratitude, you know,
Yeah.
back to your parents or grandparents or whoever raised you, man,
Mm-hmm.
just goes along. I know for me personally, just a simple
Mm-hmm.
text when I've done something for them that just says thank you. Wow, it feels like a tsunami. So it takes so
Mm-hmm.
little to do so much. But
Wow.
anyway, this is
Yeah.
interesting spin
No,
on the.
no. Go ahead, Mama Viv. You've been trying to jump in for a
Well,
little bit.
it's okay. No, it's okay because I'm going to take this around the block.
Oh.
And if you're still on the block, go ahead and say it.
Okay.
I was gonna say, Dustin, that you're not the only one that deals with it, which I'm sure you know. But like, I have a
Yeah.
man child, and like I feel like, over the years I've done quite a bit for him, and that's fine, because it's just what parents do, and no problem with that. But he actually just recently said that he felt like I didn't haven't done anything for him, and I
Mm,
was like, what? Like,
Yeah.
and I mean, that was very hurtful to me. And I know, like, he was mad about something, whatever. That's what
Mm-hmm.
happens with people who are younger. I mean, it happens with us too, But, like, even though I know that that's not true, and I know he knows it's not true, but it was like, I don't even understand how for a second you can even bring yourself to think that, And that was,
Yeah.
that was really hard to deal with. And so, like you said, it's not that he doesn't love me, and it's not that he can't
right.
love me, but the way that he loves me is not the same as the way that I pour out love to him.
And
Yeah.
I think when you put your finger on the number one thing that we have to wrestle with is that we all, in a human way, with human love, have an expectation of reciprocation.
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and that's a challenge, right? Whether it's our kids or our friends or loving our enemies, whatever it is, and we have this embedded in us that I am going to love you, but I have this expectation that it's going to be reciprocated in a meaningful way. And if it's not, right, then we're in the tension, the conundrum then I maybe need to create boundaries or distance relationship or withhold love in a
Mm-hmm.
certain way because we're doing it right in the arm of the flesh and not in the spirit, which gives us the ability, like the agape love of God, the ability to love
Yeah.
without this need, right, in us for reciprocation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I hear that, it makes me think about like communication because I think a lot of um the way we express love and reciprocate comes through our communication. And communication isn't just what we say, but it's also how we behave, right? We're communicating things through that. And I was thinking about like what Angie K was talking about, and what you're talking about, Dustin, and hurt people or people who just don't have the ability to pour back into you, right? The way that you want them to. And one of the things I say to people who come and see me about these kind of moments is you have to be able to hear past the pain because when a person is presenting and they're typically in pain, the presentation is not great, right? It's very hurtful the way that they're presenting. But if you can hear past the pain, then typically you'll be able to hear the heart of what is really happening with the person. And that gives us the ability to grow from that space. So
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
yeah.
We better let
Oh,
Mama Viv go around the block because otherwise we'll
I
be on
know.
this side of the
I
block for
know.
30 more minutes.
Listen, I was
Oh,
go ahead. I'll say something, but go ahead, Mama Viv, because otherwise we'll be taking this again. Go ahead.
yeah, I know. But I just wanted to bring in another group of people.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who don't have children. They don't experience this so much
Mm-hmm.
with children. But there are people who have husbands or boyfriends or something like that, loving people who can't love you back, you know.
Mm,
And the thing is Dustin, you hit it on the head. That's just where I was going with this. This reminded me of a song that was out a long time ago, and I think it's a rhythm and blues, but it was saying, "I'm going to make you love me."
Mm,
Mm,
You know,
mm,
and we can't make anyone love us. You know,
mm.
it's just exactly what you were talking about. We can't do that. There's a saying that says you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
mm-hmm.
And if you're in a marriage and you're trying to lead that horse to water and it won't drink, well, guess what? It's going to happen. That horse is going to die.
mm,
Doesn't have
Yeah.
any
Mm,
water, so to speak. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying is that we can't make someone love us. But what Dustin was saying that we have to evolve. And I was thinking of the things, and I'm trying not to go into the rest of it, but there are
it
things that
doesn't
we can
matter.
do to
go
help
wherever you
ourselves.
go. Go wherever you go.
You know, there's some things that we can do to help ourselves to, you know, be able to stand up during those times. And I don't know, you know, it's that's a hard feeling when you're in that situation where
Yeah.
you love someone and they don't love you the way you want to be
Mm.
loved. But as Dustin said, that you know there are things that need to happen, that things that need to be in place. You know, there are things that need to be figured out. There's basically a come to Jesus meeting type thing where Jesus, come on, help us, you know, show us what
Hmm.
we need to do. Holy Spirit, come, help us, show us what we need to do. But I think I'm going to just stop it right there. But anyway, so that's just another aspect of this whole thing.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think you're pushing on something that's like my mind goes to the marriages where you have an unbelieving spouse and a believing spouse. And then the
Mhm.
believer then has to engage with that. I mean, that's the most to me intense example of
Mhm.
where the believing spouse is having to,
Yeah.
set
Yeah.
the example in a loving way. I mean, in real time, right? I mean, 24/7.
Mhm.
Most kind of relationships we can kind of, we can kind of get away from or see them on occasion. But man, in those settings, to love like that, we had a event here at the church recently, and I won't tell you what it is. It's way too much. But basically, what it was, this Islamic lady came, and she's a believer, and she lives with her husband who is not, and he is a practicing Muslim, and she's just interceding for her husband. Yeah, and as we're hearing from her, praying for her, just asking, Lord, help me love him.
Mm,
I mean, help me love my husband in a
Yeah.
way. And she's weeping before the Lord, just asking just for help. How can I love my husband without, getting angry and bitter and
Yes.
and
Yeah.
and retaliatory and all those kind of things. I mean,
right.
my heart just breaks for those situations because those are people that are in it at such a high level.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
You're right.
I will come from it. I'll come to it from a perspective of two believers. Okay, because I actually have a testimony of that. Because now everybody who knows me and my husband, they know my husband loves me like crazy, and I love him like crazy. But when we got married, he started losing family members. For every year that we've been married, he's had at least one family member die. And
Mm.
before that, he had not lost really anybody. So he did not know how to deal with that grief, and that sorrow. And the two first people that he lost were his grandmother and his mother. So, two very
Really.
big figures in his life. And so it wasn't that he didn't love me, but the way he loved me or expressed that love for me changed because he was in so much pain and so much grief and so much sorrow, and he did not know how to deal with it. And now my husband's an open book, so he has no problem with me saying this, but he didn't know how to deal with it. And I really had to ask the Lord to help me to love him beyond where he was in those moments, because it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't that he couldn't love me or didn't love me, but that grief was weighing on the love that he had for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one of the things I'm thinking about is something we kind of talked about a little bit on Monday, Dustin, when we were talking about when somebody can't love you because of capabilities, but then we started going into when somebody chooses not to, right? They just won't love you. And those are very different circumstances. I think a lot of times it's hard to love somebody who can't love you back, but maybe there's this compassion for their experience. But then what happens, you know what I mean, when you experience the person who's like, oh, I have the capability. I choose not to. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Yeah. I wa-
Yes, I know we probably have people in our lives, and that as a I'm a two enneagram, if you know what that means. So I'm a very heart oriented person, and when I know there's somebody out there that's I'm in that situation with them, it's very
Mm,
difficult with me. And kind of like you said, Mama Viv, I want to fix that. I want to
yeah.
make them love me because I want to repair this thing. But when they are with holding it, from I don't know, anger, bitterness, unforgiveness, who knows, all different reasons,
Hmm.
and they put the wall up. That's a yeah, that's really difficult. But some people can just walk that. I mean, I don't do well with just walking past that. I carry that constantly when I know
Hmm.
somebody's out there like that. And well, anyway, yes, just to acknowledge what you're saying,
yeah.
it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And can I say, I just feel like it's someone out there who's going through some things, couples they're going through this. And so they're feeling like, well, maybe I'm too hard to love. And that's
Mm,
why this person is like this toward me. But I just feel like God is saying, no, you're not too hard to love. I love you. And I will
come on.
always love you. You can always depend on my love. You can always stand on my love. You say, hang in there, keep coming to me. I just had to throw
Mhm.
that out there.
No,
No,
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
yes.
Yeah. So I think that that's a real good segue to why we stay in one-sided relationships, right? Because we're kind of hitting on that. I think Dustin and Mama Viv, especially when they were talking about these different dynamics of being married, but staying through it and calling on God to help you to
Yeah.
love a person who isn't loving you in the ways that you feel good about, right? So I don't know. What do you have any more to add to
Uh,
why do we stay?
well, it's a we're trying to resolve so many issues at the horizontal level, right? I'm trying to
Hmm.
fix
Hmm.
things here, and when we know it's the vertical thing. To
Yeah.
me, it all goes back to identity. If I'm struggling loving somebody, I'm at a place where I can't seem to get there. The problem is not with that other person. Somewhere I have lost touch with the the how the Father loves me. I am intrigued by the message of Jesus when he says that the Father loves you in the same way he loves me. I mean, Jesus said
Mhm.
that.
Mm.
And just to think about that God loves me in the same way he loves Jesus, that means
Mhm.
what he is saying over me is the
Yes.
words like, this is my son Dustin, in whom I love and whom I'm well pleased. I mean, we could spend the next 1,000 years meditating on each part of that, right? My son, right? Who loves me, and he's pleased with me. And then if I understand then the point of me engaging with the Holy Spirit, Paul is saying continually be filled with the Holy Spirit. Well, what's the Holy Spirit doing? Romans 5, he's pouring the love of God out into our hearts, right? And
Hmm.
then Paul would say in Ephesians 3 that we are being rooted and grounded in love.
Mm.
So I think the solution is really simple, not always easy, but if I'm having trouble extending love in a agape way without expectation, it probably means I'm in a state of dissonance in my revelation of God's love for me. And I know my car is so out of alignment. I mean, it isn't like I can fix this thing and it's done for 10 years. I mean,
Yeah.
we're so out of alignment. We have to constantly re-plumb line our heart in the love of God and knowing how he feels about us, how he thinks about us, where I am so rooted in that, the tendency I have toward codependence is
Mm.
is is going to be buffered, by my love of God. Otherwise, we're going to be so codependent, that when we're out of relationship with each other, we're going to be just completely wrecked all the time because we're trying to get something from somebody else that they don't even have the capacity to give us anyway.
Mm. So
Anyway,
good.
that's my sermon.
Yeah. I want to say that I guess Dustin and I we're on that same vein. It just seemed like every time Dustin said, "Yeah, that's where I was going." But that identity thing, how our identity is a lot of times wrapped up in each other, and how if we feel like if the relationship failed, that I don't know, we feel like it's going to validate our value. You
Yes.
know what I mean? Like if I make this work, if I make him love me, then I'm okay. Everything is all right with the world. And then when that happens, fear sets in. So that's one of the things that make us stay is the fear of that. And also it's tied into, like you said, our self-worth.
Hmm.
I must not be worth much,
Yep.
And so
Yep.
because of this, I am going to be loyal. I'm going to be loyal. I'm going to be faithful. I'm going to do all of these things, dot all the I's, cross all the T's, whatever it is that it's going to take, but at the same time, lose my identity.
Mm.
Mm.
You know, one of the things that all of this makes me think about is the way we perceive things, right? And we're all talking about the same thing, but we're kind of almost like giving it from these different vantage points. And so more recently, I had to go through an inner healing because with the work I do, I am constantly pursuing people who I feel like don't want to be pursued, but the Lord is saying pursue them. So clearly there's something in there that he is nudging at. And I was getting tired of doing it. I was getting tired of having to run after people that didn't you know just say, all right, let's go. Let's what I mean, let's go get this healing. Um and when I went to get the inner healing, the first thing I talked about was how I felt about it. And Angie K is actually the one that did this, and she was like, "Oh, God is taking me in a different direction than I've done this before. He's asking, what do you see?" And so then I started describing what I saw, and it had a lot to do with how I was perceived. Oh, I feel like it looks like I'm doing this, or you know what I mean? It had identity. It had a lot to do with how I felt like people saw me based off of me, what I call chasing after people who seem like they don't want to be chased. And then God was like, no, look again. What do you see? And that's when he helped me to see it from his vantage point. And he was saying, you are my living um, vessel of grace in the earth. When you're pursuing these people, you are creating this space of grace for them to turn and get in alignment with what I'm calling them into. You're my living vessel of grace. You're the one you are literally the how I go after the one. And so what I felt like was a burden because of the way I was perceiving this with my identity and all that became an honor. It's like God chose me to be this for him in the earth and the way he demonstrates this with people. And so it absolutely shifted my vantage point. It shifted the way I viewed this. And of course, that made my identity way more secure in him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm in complete agreement with what you guys are talking about.
One of
Yeah.
the one of the examples biblically, you think about Jesus is how he treated Peter and how he
Hmm.
treated Judas. Very similarly, right? And we're all going to have Peters in our life. We're going to have Judases in our life, and we don't always know which one which one is which, right? I
Right.
mean, here we have Jesus in full omniscience, knowing good and well that Judas is about to betray him, but yet, right? Yet
Hmm.
he washed his feet. He served him communion. He did all these things, kissed him, and allowed Judas to kiss him, and then Jesus is like, okay, now go do what you got to do. And
Hmm.
we see that level of betrayal play out, but then we see the torment then, right, that Judas experienced. I mean, he would go out and hang himself. Can you imagine just that pursuant love that he couldn't reconcile, that ultimately didn't
Hmm.
drive him back to Jesus, but ultimately would lead him to his own death and suicide.
Yeah.
But then you see Peter, I mean, Jesus was like, hey, get thee behind me, Satan. I mean, Jesus had some pretty hard words for him, denied Jesus 3 times, just flat out. But yet, Peter made pay. I made the turn. And I know sometimes I think what we can do is the Lord is bringing Peters into our life, but we turn them into Judases. We start treating them like a Judas. Oh, they're just going to betray me. They're just going to hurt me. I think that's probably less than 1%, right? Of that. We don't have that many Judases in our life. Maybe
Yeah.
one or two over the course of a lifetime, probably. They're mostly Peters, and they're just in this place of brokenness and all that. But in the pursuit of Jesus' love, I mean, was so strong that he would even prepare a fire and cook him breakfast one morning and just
Mm.
lay on him love and restoration. And Peter made the turn. So I know in my own heart, I try not to assign like, well, they're just a Judas. They've just knifed me in the back. They betrayed me. I'm just gonna let him go because I think that's really rare, honestly. I think they're
Yeah.
mostly Peters, that
Mm.
have betrayed us, that have hurt us, but there's still so much hope for them, right? And if we think about them as Peter and not a Judas, I know that helps my heart. It helps me to think rightly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's
that makes
good.
me think about asking the Lord to help us to step out of fear, right? Because
Mm.
I feel like we're so fearful about what people are going to do to us and our own feelings and all these things or whatever. But, I totally agree with you, like how Jesus treated Judas up until the end. Matter of fact, when Judas came to betray Jesus, Jesus still let him kiss him. Like literally, he
Hmm.
could have been like, but he
I'm
still
done
let
with
him
you.
have,
Yeah.
yeah, but he still allowed him to kiss him, like in the betrayal. Like that to me, that's the first wound of the cross is Judas's kiss to Jesus,
Hmm.
and he allowed that, but because he wasn't fearful of holding that space for him.
Mm.
Hmm.
And so it's like, okay, are we really asking the Lord, can I keep this space open for this person? Are they treating me this way because they're wounded and they're traumatized and you want this space for them to be able to heal?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
So, so
oh, go ahead, Mama Val.
oh, all right. I was just gonna say, put one more thing on here about staying in a one-sided relationship. And I was thinking about how you're wired as a child also can make you stay in a one-sided relationship. You may be wired to be like a people pleaser, or earning love or something like that. And so things can be really crazy, but you'll stay there because you are a people pleaser or something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
when you do that, then oftentimes the reason you're staying is not to necessarily fix the relationship, but it's more about what you believe about yourself.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh.
That's good too.
Oh, yo.
There's
First.
a real there's a real convicting thought. Is like what are the reasons we're doing right things? I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Mm.
like why we're doing what we're doing. It's easy, sex, drugs, rock and roll. There's obvious things of darkness that are sins, but it becomes a very interesting question when I'm asking myself, why am I doing the right thing? And then
Mm.
I'm really called into question, wow, maybe I'm being drawn like because I need something from this other person, or I'm getting my identity from them or something of that sort of nature. And we can hide behind good actions sometimes, but when they're not coming from a very healthy place.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so
That's
good.
good. That's good.
Um, that I don't know that where it's jumping, but it's almost like you're going into that when we're using faith to justify staying stuck. Like, you know what I mean? Like why the whys, right? What is driving this behavior?
And then
I
and
wanted
then
to
well, and then you say why? I'm just real quick too, because I think what
no.
that exposes is that there's always a mixture in us. There's
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
there's not this clearly. I'm just never 100% purely motivated. I mean, it's like I realize, oh gosh, there's such a mixture in me, and I
Mm-hmm.
have to have the grace of God. I can't lean to my own understanding.
Come on.
I have to walk in the spirit so I don't gratify the lust of the flesh. I'm saying, I mean, I'm in this tenuous place to where I'm always having to lean into the Lord because my motivations are always, they're always
Yeah.
compromised at some level. And I'm
Yeah.
needing God. I'm needing God in that place of
Yeah.
weakness.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
good.
it's so good. Y'all, we have actually gone over 30 minutes, which
Oh.
I know.
It's normal, right?
Yes. And we haven't hit on If normally we're like so close, and I'm like, yeah, we can just wrap this up. Like it's literally 3 topics that we haven't hit on. Um,
That's
and
okay.
so yeah, and so but I
We
just
could
feel
do
like
a
this.
part two. We could do a part two because
That's what I'm thinking. It's
it is
like
worth talking about.
yeah, I was gonna say, I think that because it's one of those things where it's like, do we just keep going or do we give this really the space that it needed? And I feel like we gave it the space that it needed as opposed to rushing through something,
Yeah.
and not hitting on those areas that really needed. Because each one of these topics that we haven't talked about could be stretched. That's why Dustin said we'd be here till next year, right? So because we've gone 30 minutes, we'll go ahead and jump to encouraging our listeners, and maybe we will do a part 2 on this, and talk about
Yeah.
some of those topics that we didn't get a chance to address today, guys. So let's encourage our listeners. It's my favorite part.
I want to
Okay.
say, okay, I'll go first.
Oh,
I know. I want to say that you did not feel that love just because someone didn't receive it.
mm,
Yeah, that's good.
Good.
And I just want to reiterate what I said. Like, step out of fear and really ask the Lord, about the relationship that you're in. Every relationship is so different. And ask Him, what is this space for in this relationship? Do I stay and allow healing and trust to form? Or is it a Judas? Because they do exist, and find out from Him. And when you find out from Him, be bold enough to act on what He says.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just say heal the vertical, y'all. We
Yeah,
we
that's good.
we are so focused on the horizontal relationships, but like seriously, get it, get with God, read Psalms 139, ask him to show him yourself, get healed in spaces because that helps you to be able to pour out into the vertical in the ways that you really need
Good.
to.
That's good.
Yep. And my little practical thought, it's kind of silly, but I do this maybe not every day, but maybe 80% of the time is, I mean, every day during my prayer time, I will put my hands on my head, my head. I said, Lord, make my voice be an echo of your voice, right?
Yeah.
Mm,
This is my son, Dustin, in whom I love and whom I'm well pleased. And I recognize every time I do that, there's a resistance in me to that truth that's wanting to prevail in
Come
my
on.
heart. Because I
mm,
just can't imagine anybody loving me like he loves me. Because I know
mm,
myself pretty well, right? And he knows me better than I know myself. And yet he still, this is my son, Dustin, in whom I love, whom I'm well pleased. And that is
yeah.
probably the most simple way that I, in my own life, try to anchor myself to that reality. Because I know when I'm in that place,
Hmm.
man, freely I've received,
Yeah.
freely I can give. But
Yeah.
when I'm not able to give, I'm just not receiving, that ongoing revelation. So maybe that can be helpful to somebody listening. And it
Hmm.
sounds funny, but just that literally, God, make me an echo of your voice and
Yeah.
Yeah.
just say that over yourself as God's voice over you.
So
Amen.
good. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like redefining love with wisdom.
I love
Amen.
that. Ooh, this
I
was
love it.
a beautiful topic, heavy topic, one that I feel like you could go and listen to a few times and chew on. And even there's so many nuggets in here that you could just sit with. And I always feel like these kind of things are invitations to conversations. So what I mean by that is pick a nugget, go talk to God about it, sit with him, see what he's ministering to you, and go with your questions or whatever the conversation, wherever it leads you. But um, let it be an invitation to conversation. Okay, guys, we want to hear from you. So sometimes the most loving thing you can do is stop asking someone to give what they don't have. What would it look like to love wisely instead of endlessly? So drop us a line in the chat. If y'all want a part 2, let us know. Tell us in the chat, hey, give us a part 2, and we will see what we can do about that. Okay. So, Dustin, it was so good to have you.
Yes, it was.
Fun.
I'm
Enjoyed it.
telling you, you never disappoint. I just like I could just sit and soak up all the knowledge and all
Oh.
the wisdom. Yeah. Okay. For the people who don't know, how can they get in touch with you if they want to reach out?
Yes, so pretty easy email, Dustin, Dustin, dot Pennington, Penninington, at gatecityatl.com.
All right. Well, we are about to close on out. Yes, Angie K, I see you. You getting ready to tell us what's coming up next week? What's coming?
Yeah, well, okay. I guess we're gonna do all gas, no brakes, because we're gonna talk about what I learned the hard way.
That's fun.
Well.
That's a volume, right? That's a whole volume.
Exactly. We'll be done with that one in 2030.
Right. I love it. Well, friends, thanks for joining. We hope you got something out of this, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
That's another episode of Are We on Topic Yet from the Wild Wonder Collective.
If today made you laugh or feel a little more seen,
Go ahead and hit subscribe, share it with a friend, and leave us a review.